Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Whew, just got cold in my house. I don't know. I'm just freezing. Whew. So, welcome, everybody. And of course, the dog starts barking as soon as I go on here. Oh, my goodness. So much, so much. Hello. You're cleaning but listening. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, welcome, everybody. I don't know if my husband just opened a window or whatever. It just got really cold. Like, as soon as you open a window down here right now, it gets cold. And you're just like, "What the hell just happened?" And you feel like you wanna wrap up in a blanket. Pretty crazy. So, thanks everybody for joining me today. It's kind of crazy energies. I think it has been for the last couple days, and people have been feeling a little bit out of sorts, and, a lot of stuff coming up for people, and just I guess a lot of craziness coming up for people, and if you're not used to it, it just throws people out of um makes them unsteady, and that unsteadiness seems to be on the rise. So as I say, good morning, Shar, good morning, everyone who's watching. I was just doing a little bit of research, a little bit of research, not much, but a little bit. And some of the stats, because I watch a lot of stuff from England and the United States, and living here in Calgary, the one thing, Calgary's clean. Just have to say, Calgary's a very clean city. And yes, we have a homeless population, and it's there. And but maybe it's not so much in our face as it would be in other places like Toronto or Vancouver. And even I guess even if you go farther east, I mean, you get it gets pretty bad. I know Vancouver is really bad. You can be right in your face. It's everywhere in Van, and same with Toronto. But it's growing, and I think over the next, it doesn't matter where you are in Canada, you're going to be witnessing it a lot more, because people are either wanting a place to stay. Obviously, they're wanting a home, but they're not having there's not the room, and there's not the and what I keep on seeing is the and this is weird because 'cause I'm gonna go back to the astrology. When Pluto goes into Aquarius, it gets weird because people are, it's a crazy mindset of, wanting to be one and humanity and come together, and it's kind of like lawlessness. And in that lawlessness is where people are having to rediscover how to bring forth construction, or bring forth a formation. And right now we are in a dismantlement of an old form, of an old way, a dismantlement of a world that is not in alignment to a lot of things and a lot of values that people have. And the walls, thank you, that have been built up are falling. And for many of us, it's frustrating. And it's where we want to see the good, we want to see the positivity, we want to be the positive, we want to be the ones, that whole, oh, let's be love, let's be, let's come into the oneness. And a big part of, especially with a lot of the energies in Pisces, and where it is on the chart on the one area, it is it is frustrating. And I think people are feeling that frustration and trying to tap into something that can give them a foundation. But it's very hard to get a foundation when you are in the middle of the ocean, because you can't put your feet down. You can't find that grounding. And this is where you got to come in and float and trust and have faith as this crazy lawlessness and construction is being dismantled. And we're unsure of what that is all going to look like. Um, on here in Calgary, they're building a new LRT system. And like you're seeing these advancements, and that's the whole thing. Is like you're seeing these advancements and growths that are happening, like a new LRT system connecting more parts of the city, because Calgary's growing like a scrambled egg. It's just crazy how many people live here. And in fact, and this is what I found, this is what was mind blowing to me when I was looking at the stats for immigration in Canada within the last year, and it's 1.2 million people came. So that is all of the people in Calgary just immigrated. Basically it, right? Um, so when you look at the vastness and the amount of people that live here, just just putting it in perspective, have come into Canada. Now, not all everybody there is legal. Most of them are illegal. Or what are they calling them? Displaced. So you can't say illegal now. I mean, Biden just had to apologize for saying illegal immigrant killed the woman. No, he was a displaced. No, he was illegal. But of course, then now that's another term that if you say it, you could be banned for hate. And we also had here in Canada, and this is the other part, is like 579,000 student visas have come in. So that's, when you just, think of that, and they pay 10 times the tuition. So these institutions, these universities are making money, huge money, hand over fist, so we have, and 400, with all of the new immigrants that are coming in, and you're seeing them, it's getting it's frustrating, 'cause there's, yes, we have a vastness in Canada of land and everything else, but where's the infrastructure? I mean, we have reserves without water, you know, and we have places where there is no flushing toilets. Yet there is this craziness that's coming down, and I'm, as I'm watching it astrologically and seeing how Pluto in Aquarius is going to be bringing in that unseatedness of what humanity is, that lawlessness. Because everybody thinks, oh, the age of Aquarius is all beautiful and loving and caring and all, oh, yes, we're all in harmony. But that's not what Pluto brings in. Pluto brings in for us to take a look at the things that are not working, and what are not only working in the world around us, but what is not working within your own selves and within your own humanity, and how you replay that in your life and how you replay that with other people around you. And this is a transformation and a change that is going on, that we are going through, and it's out of control, and the intensity is just going to increase over the next several years, where many are thinking, you hear where many are saying, oh, by such and such a year, we're all going to be back to normal. Well, what is back to normal, right? What is that back to normal that people are saying, oh, we're going to be back to normal? There is no back to normal. This is where we are coming into a time where we are needing to reconstruct how we are thinking, how we are connecting, and how we want to restructure the world that we live in. And what does that look like? What is that coming in? And it really starts with not on the upper top, not there. Like, it's not on the upper top. It starts with each and individual person. It starts with how we are creating, and I've been saying that for a long time, but the pressure is coming in more than ever. We're going to be finding, especially here in Canada, over the next 2 months, that we think $1.48 is expensive for gas. What what would stop you from getting out? Like, this is this is where this my little mind starts to go. It's like, if gas gets to $3 a liter, hypothetically, let's just hypothetically put it that, it's almost like that's going to restrict people from going out and doing things even more. So you see how, these restrictions that are coming in, but they're not coming in forcefully. They're coming in a way that is stopping people from reaching out and connecting. So this is where you're going to see where it's going to be becoming very important to have a community and a source of community around you, because the pressures to not being able to reach out and be mobilized are going to be becoming more restrictive in the coming months. And where if it's becoming more restrictive, and then, oh my goodness, I'm going down a rabbit hole right now. Then if it becomes more restrictive, then we will find that we are going to be coming into more isolation. So if we thought that the thing that happened a few years ago was pretty crazy, where the uh, upper echelons, I'm going to call them, uh, had us believe, now it's becoming more of a psychological thing of the restraints of saying, oh my God, I can't do this, I can't do that, because of the high prices or the inflation that comes in. Where when you look at the amount of homelessness that is out there, I just feel like there's going to be an increase of it in some capacity. And where small towns, and I'm looking at a couple people here in small towns that live in small towns, a few of you live in small towns, that your small towns are going to be inundated, inundated with more homelessness, because people are going to want to go into those smaller communities. And those smaller communities are going to be inundated with more people, and where they won't be able to deal with it, right? Because they don't have the infrastructure in there. But here's the flip side. Who's making money out of all of this? It all comes down to following the money. Good morning, Dana. Good morning, Candace. Um, it is it's coming down to where people are getting paid, because there's money in this. So if I ship everybody out to Okotoks or Moose Jaw or Airdrie or wherever it is, there is a money to be made there, even though those areas are going to be inundated and maybe it looks like destroyed, and their infrastructure, being attacked. And when I was just doing, just some, looking at the amount of people coming in, and yeah, we have a heart and we want to help people and we want to care for people. But this is where the restraints, and this is where I see, especially when the other part with how things are moving, and especially with Neptune coming to the end of Pisces and Saturn being in there, and they're not going to be meeting up till 2026 in Aries at 0 degrees. So here we have this pressure pot really starting to boil, and the boiling points aren't going to be happening. I mean, this is the starting of the boiling point, definitely 2024, but the real, like, boiling over and just going really crazy is that we're gonna start, starting to see sort of the the initiation of it now, but the full throttle in the next couple years where it just we can't do this anymore, and the revolt comes, where people start standing up more and more, and people are, where they're going to fight back because it's like, "No, we're not gonna do this anymore. This is where we're going to stop." Basement had flooded. I've had it to push my job start to next week as I am so sick. Oh, sending you so much blessings, Dana. Sending you so much blessings. Did we talk about your basement flooding one time? I'm just thinking about a reading I did. I'm not sure. Or something to do with that. I'm not sure, but could have. Or it could have been somebody else. But that's the whole thing. Pisces, that's what Pisces does. I mean, with all the energies of Pisces, people at flooded basements, floods are going to be happening. Droughts, the opposite of it, skyrocketing with oil prices. We're going to be seeing that coming in more and more with the energies of Pisces because it's controlling the water. People getting very, things to do with the blood and even with pneumonia and different types of illnesses and that have to do with water, bacterial problems. And um that's the other part that Neptune controls as well, right? So those types of things are going to be on the rise. Now, I know it sounds like doom and devastation, Mary. That's what you are, doom and devastation. Look at you bringing in the doom and devastation. Stop bringing in the doom. We want fairies and butterflies and unicorns and prettiness and daffodils that are blossoming. And this is where we come into the next part when we look into the Neptunian energy that's there, and with what's going on with Aquarius and the Aquarius energy, and the square with Mars is coming off that square um, to Uranus of the unexpected. Again, we come into a place where we have to empty ourselves and put our trust and guidance into that of a higher power. And that doesn't mean that you sit around and do nothing. That doesn't mean that you sort of sit there and on the couch and eat your bonbons and drink your bottles of wine. Be nice, eh? But what it does, it gets you to say, okay, I need to surrender. Where do you want me to go? And trust in the opportunities and the doorways that open for you. Trust in what needs to be said and done at that time. And don't think that you can do it all by yourself. And that's the other piece too. Is that the thing that's why community and small communities and connections are going to be extremely important, because you won't be able to do it by yourself. And if you try to do it by yourself, you're going to be inundated and feeling very overwhelmed, and could cause you, to get sick and to, cause other problems as well. So here we are. We're in this, real battle, I feel. And this energy that's coming in. And when I watched the Leo King, he brought up the helio, um, which means that you watch things from the sun perspective, and it's like, wow, there's conjunctions that are happening from the sun's. When you stand on the sun, you look at where the planets are, and where the energies are coming together. So there's a lot of energies that are coming together, not only in um, Aquarius, but in Taurus as well. So a lot of fixed energy is coming in and the fixed energies of how we are creating in the world that we are in. And in that creation, how we are connecting with one another, with our values, and how we connect within our values and within one another. And that's putting up boundaries as well, because the boundaries come in. Where are the boundaries that we are setting up? And that goes up to how, even within our own countries, if you want to go on the world view, what are those boundaries that we are needing to set up within the world view, within the world ourselves, within the countries? What are those boundaries that need to be set up? What are those rules? What are those, beliefs and that need to be reestablished in order to create a more harmoniously balanced world? But in order to do that, that means that there's going to be a lot of chaos and a lot of crazy and a lot of disruptions that are going to be happening in everybody's lives. Not just over there, but each one of us, there's going to be these disruptions that are going to happen, that are going to be needed to be dealt with. And in dealing with them, on these in these different ways in different communities. I hope this all makes sense. But today is like we're in eclipse season. And the eclipse season is also known as that we're heading into the mouth of the dragon. And heading into the mouth of the dragon is not exactly a real beautiful thought to be having. It's just like, what? I don't want to go into the mouth of the dragon. But we are entering into that energy of the mouth of the dragon. We're entering into the place where craziness and chaos begin to happen. In amongst that, we're also going to be um, coming into the eclipse season, not only the eclipse season, but the spring equinox, right? So this is where it could be feeling very dramatic, intriguing, and somewhat terrifying connotation. So, and the idea of the eclipse portal or entering the dragon is new. It's new for me. And you're not sure what it means. Well, this is where we are going to be finding that change and evolutionary change is inevitable. This is where we are going to be seeing that how things are going to be pairing up when it comes to the North Node in Aries, which is the god of war, to the South Node being in Libra, where the lunar eclipse is going to be. The lunar eclipse is in Libra, and that's has to do with relationships and how we are balancing those relationships, how we are working within those relationships. And some of the I think I'm trying to find some questions I wrote down. Of course I have questions. Um and how we are doing them. Where did I put them? Oh, here we are. This is where we got to look at, am I on shaky grounds when it comes to relationships? And be honest with yourself about any imbalances or areas that need attention. So this is relationships in all areas. So right now, what is our relationship with the earth? What is our relationship with our country? That's a relationship. It's shaky. It's unbalanced, and there's a lot of imbalances that are there. So there's a lot of shakiness and it needs attention. So those things are going to be brought up even more. Now you come into your personal life. What are those relationships that you have, not only with your significant other, but what is your relationship with your surroundings, with your home, with your land, with your neighbors? Like all of these types of relationships are coming in. And that's what you have to start looking at is like, how are those relationships? And then the other part is like, have I fulfilled my commitments or agreements? So because it's in Libra, Libra is about balance and commitments, and it's about the law and the partnerships. And consider in any outstanding debts. Is there anything outstanding that I need to pay attention to, that I need to pay? Because you're going to find that if there is anything that is outstanding, anything that you haven't been paying attention to, this is going to come in heavily, and it's going to be weighing heavily upon us. So we can take that into the worldly and say, okay, is there any outstanding debts? Well, let's look at the United States, which is going up $1 trillion every what? Less than, is it 100 days or something? Or our debt in Canada, our debt, that is escalating as well. I mean, we don't have as many people in Canada as they do. I mean, there's more people in California, in the state of California, than there is in all of Canada, right? So our debt is high for us comparatively to that of the United States, and to other countries. But this is where, have we fulfilled our commitment? What does that look like? What is that commitment, and what are those agreements? And have we been neglecting our health routine? So the moon rules the body. So the eclipse might light areas where you must prioritize your well being. So, what is your relationship with your body? What is your relationship with self? Have you been neglecting these things? And this is going to be coming up over the next 2 weeks as we are heading into the eclipse season and into the lunar eclipse. And then we have the solar eclipse. And this energy, this motion that's coming forth for us is going to be an evolutionary change, because the extraordinary of the eclipses, the extraordinary of the alignments are ones that haven't been seen or felt for between 2 to 500 years. So we got to think of what are those disruptions and craziness that happened. Well, if we go back to King Henry VIII, all of the changes that were happening within his own country at that time, where he ousted all of the Catholics, took over all of the monasteries and shipped everybody away or killed them, and people were homeless and distraught. So there was a huge migration of people fleeing England and wanting to go somewhere else, right? So there's that huge migration. What about the United States wasn't the United States yet. It was still a colony of Britain. So here are people, if you still were in alignment with Britain, and the revolution is happening for a change in a new country, well, you lost your home, you lost your land, you lost everything. You were ousted. And here we're coming into this, if you're not in alignment with what's going on and the changes that are happening, this eclipse is going to highlight all of that. But then you have another sense of a revolution, another sense of a change, of a commitment that's going to explode upon all of us. And we are going to be feeling it, and we're feeling that disruption, we're feeling that bitchiness, we're feeling that uneasiness. And this is where it's like, okay, I can't, a lot of this is out of my control, so I got to hand it over. I can't be, and as I saw this quote today, worrying like a rocking chair, because it gets me nowhere. I can't be that, just rocking away thinking I'm going to catapult somewhere else, but I can't. I got to accept it and hand it over. I got to accept. I can't control how many people are coming into Canada, but you know what I can do? I can accept it. I can bless it and give it up to the Holy Spirit and ask for inner peace and a miracle. I can't do anything about the high, the cost of living and everything. But what I can do, I'm going to accept it, but I'm going to do what I can do in order for me to create more harmony within my life. That means, okay, I'm going to be a prepper. I'm going to prep. I'm going to get things together. I'm going to make sure I got the things I need. I'm going to make sure that if my tank goes to half, I'm going to make sure that I have a full tank, so that I'm able to go and come where I need to go and come, and not feel those restrictions that are being placed upon me. Yes, they're there. And I understand them and I notice them, but you know what? I'm going to hand them over, because I'm going to be taking more control of what I need to do. When you do that, when you start taking that control or that power within you, you start to see others do the same, and you see that connection in those communities start to come together. Yeah, it's overwhelming, and yeah, it's frustrating, and there's a lot there, and there's a lot there to unpack. But it's where worry doesn't empty tomorrow of its troubles. It empties today's strength. So you look at the strength that you can do today and bringing it and handing it over. We know bringing the immigrants in is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Poverty, like I was looking at some of the people who are in charge of even the mustard seed and the CEO of the mustard seed on how much money they make. Like I just like it blew my fucking mind. It's over $200,000 a year. And they're not really doing anything. They're just overseeing and go to board meetings or what have you. And different galas to raise more money for it. And wear really nice outfits, actually. It blows your mind, and you're saying, okay, you know what? We can't get into that corruption. We can't, there are ways of working with this. And then I see on the flip side, I can't remember his name. Anyways, he drives around Calgary, and he's on TikTok. He does a live. They've tried to ban him a few times, but he goes around, and what he does through donations and through what other people can do for him, he delivers food. He delivers packages and things to people who need it. Oh, you need a sleeping bag. Okay, you don't have shoes. Let me go to Goodwill. I'm going to buy a pair of shoes, and I'm going to make sure, what size do you take? I'll get you size 9, 10, or whatever. He does those types of things. So you see there is a slow movement that is happening. It's just not, you just don't hear about it, right? There's a movement too. There's another woman here in Calgary, and that she's working with seniors that are being displaced, where, seniors living in a home, or they've lived in this, place or renting for so many years, and that their rent has gone up double the amount. So, and of course, they're on a fixed income, or they're unable to work anymore because of whatever's going on within their lives, right? So there's people who are doing this for pittance. They're not getting, the big grants or the donations, because every time a lot of these organizations and a lot of these shelters, they just have to say, oh my gosh, we got all these new refugees, more grants come in for them. And that's where we start to see, with this eclipse and everything, going to go back out of that and say there's just a lot of positive over here that is happening, but we just don't see it, or we're not witness to it, but it's there, it's happening, and we can be a part of it in different ways, in how we want to. That means you could be that person that has those little packages in your car, and you see the guy who's needs something. Here's a package, has some gift cards in there, has some sanitizers and change of socks or whatever. There you go. We can do that, and we can be that kind of change for very little, And that's where that relationship comes in. That's where that energy comes in, because that energy is getting us to, or these frequencies are getting us to not be just on self and self and self and self and self. This energy is getting us, how can we move out? How can we get connected? How can we make the change? And that's where it's at. And sometimes it feels like a real bitch to do it all. Did you have a window open? Because I got really cold down here on my feet.
The bathroom, it's closed. I'm going and get tea, and then I'm going and.
He's going to get tea, everybody. You're live.
And then my thing might cost $50.
And then Steve's got to get his thing, so we'll let him go get his thing.
That's not. The lottery will be separate. So
and the lottery will be separate. Just letting people know. Okay. There you go. So he's letting me know. All you guys know too. Anyhow, he's going to see me in a bit. Oh, the joy. Hope that all gave you guys a giggle on the things my husband has to do. But yeah, it's taking those steps, and it is, the energies are very overwhelming and frustrating right now. And it's going to take us, step by step, little by little. But that's how things are growing. That's how things change. That's how we make those changes, and that's how we make the disruption that needs to happen within our world in a positive way. And sometimes it seems difficult. So there is a petition, I believe, that's going around on for the speech. So there's a petition about the speech. I'm not so you can I think you can look it up on the conservative side, but there is that if people are interested in signing that. There's a few petitions going out to the government. I don't know how much it's going to make a change, but I just I just want to go in there and just be that person that throws over the tables and saying, okay, we're starting from scratch, and all of you guys we're going to keep some of you, but not all of you, kind of thing. And we're not going to allow lobbyists anymore. There's no lobbyists allowed. So we're not going to have lobbyists anymore. Nobody's going to be taking money from lobbyists and things like that. And if you're starting something to do to work with the homeless and people who need the help, then you're not going to sit on the board and get 200,000 and do fuck all. If you're going to get 200,000, you're going to get there on the streets and work with the people and not just sit there and try wear pretty and wear a $5,000 outfit to a gala to raise money. So, that's just my little ways. Anyways, so I'm going to send you guys out so much love today. Stay in your light, stay in your love. Know that the divine is there for you in all that you want to do. So don't let anybody, put your light out. And Dana, I don't know if you're still here, but sending you out so much love today. And hopefully everything gets sorted with your basement. And to all of you, just have a great day. And Lexi, have fun cleaning today. I did a wee bit yesterday. Got to do some more today. So have a blessed one. Shine your light, be that light. Definitely, I would, if you want to help people or if you want to help the homeless, have a few things in your car that you want to help them out with and that you can distribute. I know Steve and I, that's one of the things that we do, and we find it important because we do know a few homeless people. So sending you out so much love and have a great day. Shine your light. Bye-bye, everybody. See y'all.